Hello, this is Arcades, and welcome to something that,
Our grip on the wasteland tightens with each corpse in your outpost.
Really? I'm trying to do my intro, and you want to just... Anyways. Well, as I was saying, I started something new on stream. There's this game that came out called Meet Your Maker, and you're seeing, the intro area, where the hub to it right now. So, yeah. A little bit about the game. Basically, if I had to put everything in a nutshell, I think the best way I described it on stream was Mario Maker meets Doom. Yes. Shut up. I'm busy. Anyways, so what we're going to do here, I'm going to do a little bit of run over of the game, and basically it's kind of overview of the game, at least for what it is right now. And yeah, so when you start the game, you'll come in here, you'll get a little screen, you'll get a little video introduction to what this is over here. The whole story is so far is shut up. Stop the beeping. Is you're feeding this thing genetic material. They call it GenMat for short. And you collect that by raiding people's dungeon bases and creating your own for people to raid. And what it is each of these bases. So if we come here to the command center, it gives you a list of bases right here you can go through. And they have 3 difficulties. Now they have 5 listed per difficulty. Now the difficulty is based on the content of the base, not by anything that's actually set by there. So it has to do with the content of how many traps or enemies are put in the base. I'll go a little bit more over what that is a bit here in a bit, but we're just going to hit this real quick. So at the top you have 5 if you see my mouse, you should. Yes. Okay, so at the top, you have these 5 markers up here. These are the types of genetic material that you can grab. They say actually it's genetic material referenced by this advisor. I'll show you the advisors here in a second. But each of these represent a different core aspect of the game that you can work with. And over here on the side, it also, each of these bases refer to that. So you can come here to the build mode. And as you can see, I already have a few bases here. They will tell you how much genetic material that this has available at the base. In this case, I've got 3 bases that have 9,000 out of 9,000. That's the highest value I've seen so far. And then I've got one base. This was the first one I made, Ridgeway. And it's at 6,750. From what I understand, the difficulty is, like I said, it's based on how many traps and enemies you have in there. Some have even put it as far as how close they are to the main path. And I will get to that in a moment. Let me talk more about the advisors. Okay, so when you come in, they say you need genetic material to increase the Chimera's level. That's this thing.
We were both made with a purpose. To look extinction in the eyes and reject it.
I was made to stay away from you because you talk too much. Anyways, we have our advisors. They each serve a different purpose. Say hello.
Life was all right. Okay.
So we got the weapons advisor here.
Taking down subclones is doing them a favor.
Is Corona. As you can see, got levels, and they have ability to boost, so you can get greater rewards and different effects. But they also have different slots of stuff that you can research. And the 3 currencies right now are cells, which is the red one. The blue icon is for parts, and then the yellow one's for synthite. You get these through various things in the game. For me, as I played, the red one, cells, is the hardest to get. Other people from what I'm reading, it's been the yellow one, and the blue one is for, I think, supposed to be mainly used for the next advisor. This one, she upgrades your weapons. You get the Volt Lancer as a default, and the Furious Edge as a default. They have stats. You can go into them. You can upgrade them. They have some minor upgrades, what it feels like. They just upgrade their usefulness. Now, here we have the next one.
Many false sanctuaries oppose us. I trust you will deal with them.
Shut up. Okay. Next we have
Consider
Elpida.
hardware that will save you in times of trouble.
Sometimes I really just forget that I need to shut them up. Anyways. Alright, so she refers to the hardware. So you have some secondary equipment you can equip when you go out to a base. And these are, as you see, I haven't upgraded them because I'm saving myself for upgrading the next divisor I'll show you. For stuff with it and the next one. Flash barrier. These are, like I said, these are secondary consumable items. You need cells to research them to make them available, but once you make them, it seems, at least for only the blast grenade, you need parts to create them. As you see, I have a lot. I don't use it a lot. I have my reason for that, but they are available. They are there. Flash barrier allows you to, basically gives you a bubble shield, from what I understand. I haven't used it, as you can see, so I don't know exactly what it does. If I come across the information, I'll put it in. Phoenix spotted, it says new body of location if the Custodia dies. I'm assuming you get one, because there's a max amount you can carry with you. And you put it down and it just regenerates you, I guess. So that's my assumption. Spike drive, and I'm guessing it's pretty straightforward. Increases your movement speed, and I'm guessing, of course, you have a limited thing. And she increases the the genetic material or gen mat that you collect by raiding a base. Okay, next up.
Hold your head high, Custodian. You're an important symbol to the advisors.
Okay, whatever. This is the guard. This one does the guards. The enemies that you can put in a dungeon. Right now I have these 4 available, but I only have the Enforcer. You get it as default available to put in your base. Again, we'll get to the building in a little bit.
The fact we need these creatures is a constant reminder of humanity's failures.
Shush. Okay, and this is Metamorph. So his boosts increase what you get towards your base. When people die, you get prestige, so you can actually prestige your bases and such. It's definitely interesting. Alright. And then we have...
I remember when they first built you, Custodian. The threat to the Chimera was dire.
Okay, you done? Alright. This one manages...
It seems we're more war machine than the science machine we once were.
The Prota deals with traps that you would put in your base. And these are the various different ones. I'll try to go into them a little bit more a bit later, but each individual one, but this is the overview of each of the different ones. I don't have them all unlocked yet. And I can't exactly unlock them and get the stuff back. So, because the game is saved online, I guess, server side. So you have to... Yeah. Because my stream on release day, I got cut short because Steam went into I'm assuming it was Steam went into like some server update, and I basically got booted. And I couldn't do anything with the game. And then finally, this guy manages our suits.
Metamorph, he talks stuff. But that's easy when you've lived your life behind walls. How's
This
the
is
tin can suiting you, Custodian?
I keep forgetting they're going to say something. This is Pro Samagi. That's how I'm saying it, at least. And he manages your shoot. Let's... Oh.
New suit means new abilities.
So basically what your character looks like.
Or cancel out your weaknesses.
This one is, as it says, developed for melee combat. You can actually preview some of the upgrades. And I'm more of the other suit. I like it so far. This one's more range combat, which is more my style. But it also has upgrades in here. You know, it's all these upgrades are unlocked by cells. So you're really slowed down by that. Okay, and like one of his that I really like to use is increase the range that ammo is picked up by 20%. 35%. 50%. I like that one. That one helps a lot. Okay, so we've gone over the guys. We've gone over what they basically do. Now let's see a little bit about what they actually do. I will get to that in a moment. So let's go on a quick raid so you can understand, I guess, the gameplay loop. So we're just going to do an easy one. I'm still needing to work on traps, so we'll do this one. So I'm going to pick a trap base here. And you'll see up the top on those 5 markers, you'll see a little gray, like, the color's a bit different, but it'll show you how much you'll gain towards that advisor. So in this case, we'll, you know, not a lot, but normal bases generally aren't very painful. Okay, so when you start a base, ooh, this thing has been prestiged 6 times. I will explain that one a little bit more, but okay. So when you go through here, speaking of enemies, okay, so you see down at the bottom I have 2 weapons. I have the melee, I have the gun, and you can see I got the grenade and the loadout, but it has 0 on it because I have no spare ammo. Now, I'm going to just focus on mainly doing this mission real quick, and you'll get a feel for at least the gameplay. Huh. Okay, so right here, this is a synthite. That was a Forbidden Tomb. You get to crash those like once per playthrough on a level. And you can just go run around and pick up, and that's a synthite. The parts look like blue spheres inside of a framed square. Alright, now, if you look at my screen, the gun icon, which shows at the right trigger underneath the Y, that one has 1 out of 3. That's your ammunition. The thing is you can actually recover it. And one of the things you can do to recover it, A, you can just be close enough to collect it. Well, that's actually what you're doing. You're just trying to get close enough to it. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and zip line up here, which in my case is on the left shoulder. Grab the materials, because sometimes the enemies and the traps will drop. Oh, look. Trap. You can use your melee, destroy. Everything generally gets killed and destroyed in 1 hit, including you. So it's kill or be killed scenario. Ah. Impalers plus grappling trap. Now, if you saw on my screen right there, there's a little warning off to the left side with red marks. It'll let you know when it's about to be activated, or something's being activated and targeting you in that direction. That would be a hollow cube. Oh. I am sucking right now. Okay, it's a pretty straightforward trap. I like that one. Alright. Okay, here it is. Oh, look, see? Hidden trap. Try to take you out as you try to grab it if you're not paying attention. Now, when you grab this, it'll activate a second stage, so to speak. So there's some traps that may not trigger until you grab this, and they will become active. Taking a quick pan around. I didn't want to get killed in the middle of this. Oh, like that one. So that one was second. Oh, this one is too. Because here's the interesting thing is that on the traps, they will have markers, because there's 2 mods you can do to them. Or has slots for 2 mods available to do them. And, yeah. So this person put the mod to make those second stage, as I like to call them. Or after you grab the gen. Mats. Yeah. And now all you have to do is make your way out. You can either get out in the desert next, and then you can just hit escape. And then you get the choice of hitting, at least in my case, since I'm using the controller, to hit X. And I'm going to tell them it was fun and ingenious, because it was actually pretty nice. And then you go through your results. See, I had like 13 traps destroyed, got the gen mat, got the Forsaken Tomb, which was the thing that spot all the things, and a few close calls, meaning they came close to killing me, but didn't. Alright, so now we're going to head back. It'll give you an overview of your base, if it made any materials. And yeah, now, that was a basic run. That's typical run for normal. Like, people who make brutals, they're generally, some of them get insane. It gets insane. Okay, let's look at the base building a bit. So when you come into here, if you look at the top of my screen, it says raid or build, and I have the little exclamation mark. That's because I've got something went on with one of my builds. So we're going to go over there. And you can see I have these 4 bases, and as I said earlier, 2 of them are inactive. I haven't done anything with yet. I have this one and this one. We're going to go in this one since this already has some of the stuff. They do go over the stuff with you in the tutorial. So, ooh, 10. So if you look on the right side, they give you the stats for the base. Now, I've prestiged it 3 times, and I can prestige again, but I'm going to wait because I want to get all the materials. There is, because you can prestige early and just get everything plus an X amount, but I think there's a detriment to it. So you can either wait it out or go the whole way. Alright, and each base has like a capacity. So I'm going to hit X. This brings up a site where you can buy these different facilities. I bought the Pike Road one today. Now here's the thing. At the top, you'll see the name of it. You can't change the name as far as I know. It tells you the capacity that it can take for guards, for objects in there. So that's guards, traps, and like the structures. Now you'll notice it has like up in the top right of each thing, has like these squares that look like the other. That's the overall size of the base. Generally affects the capacity from what I can tell. So let's go in here since I have some stuff waiting for me apparently. Okie dokie. Now we are in build mode. This is one of my bases I have built. Now, as you can see, now the thing is when you buy a base, there's a certain it has a certain randomness that you can't control, and you have to build around that. In the case, it's the bedrock stuff, the place for the Forsaken Tombs, and the safe where the genetic material collector is at. Oh. So when somebody dies in your base, they leave little markers. And you can come down and actually collect materials from their death. This one is parts. It'll even tell you what they were killed by. Bolt shots. Oh, I'm going to have to watch the replay for that one. Now you see all these right here. These all have that mod I was telling you about. That doesn't activate till the second. So when they come in and see this, they're actually seeing this surface. And they don't reveal themselves until the second stage. Okay, so the big trick to building a base is that this yellow line, there has to be an unbroken line from point A, which is this, to point B, which is the genetic material collector, which I have over here in this map. Like I said, that is randomized. Its placement's randomized with the map, so you can't really do anything to change that. It is where it is, and you got to build around it. So this yellow line shows the path that that guy right there is going to walk along. And in my particular base here, see, I've already laid it up with traps and such. We'll go over the traps in a moment. And it'll follow through. And you see, it gives you a preview of what he's going to walk through. More goodies. More goodies. Preview some of the traps I have here, and you can see what's going to go on. And you can get pretty creative with the traps and their placements. Now here we have the enemy guards that you can place. As you can see, it gives a preview where they end up based on actions. We'll get to that in a moment. And we're just running through. I want you to show you the actual genetic material. Okay, so here is the Forsaken Tomb. If you saw in that little raid run I did, I hit this and it sprayed a whole bunch of things out. This is what it is. Yeah, it's a little creepy. You know you're getting close to it because the sound gets more intense the closer you get. And as you can see, there's a few people that have died. Okay, and here it is. This is the actual genetic material collector, or harvester? I don't know. This is the actual stuff that you come into the base to get. You saw me get it in that quick raid run, and then I exited out. But this is what you got to get to, collect it, and then you work your way back out. So what would happen is I would collect this, and it would trigger the traps with the second mod, and they would appear or become active. And, yeah, so, like I said, that thing's placement is randomized. The tombs are randomized. And the overall bedrock placement is also randomized. So those are the shapes that you have to deal with and all that. And you don't get to choose that. So you just got to deal with the hand they gave you. Okay, so let's get into the building. So right now you see I'm kind of in... Let's actually change to a different map to do some of this. Because I don't have any capital to build with on this map. So give me a second. We're going to load up a different map. And okay, so I'm in here on the smaller of the two other maps that I had. And as you can see, this one I have not touched at all. This is how the map was given to me. It has a default like little pathway already built. And as you can see, this is down here. Now we're going to do a bit of example building, so it's a little bit easier to understand. Okay, so this yellow line, as you can see, is the path the thing's taking from, you know, this, from the genetic material over to this station. Now, if you happen to delete, actually, maybe I should go over the controls a bit. Okay, that's why I came over here. Now, I'm using a controller, but I am on PC. I'm going to be speaking of through controller controls, because I'm not sure what the mouse controls are. Oh, okay. I see. I will probably look over that in a moment, but... So, you have, for the controller at least, up and down the D-pad will control how far the block is from you. There's no way to go neutral, so there's nothing in front of you, at least that I know of. Oh, wait. Ah, there we go. Hide preview. Left stick. Anyways. So, if you want to build something, you'll hit, at least for this, I guess you could say the back button, menu button, and it will bring up a blocks menu. And from here, you can select the different things to use. The only block you can't put down is bedrock. That's the only one I have that I see that you can't do. Now, in this build menu, if you'll notice, like at the bottom, over in the previews on the left, and down at the bottom right, it will tell you how much it costs capacity-wise. So at the top right of the screen, you'll see, on this case, it says capacity 56 out of 1500. That means right now I have 56 of the capacity being currently used in the map as it is in the default state they gave it to me. Now, if you want to pick all that up so you can work with it blank, you know, get rid of all this base stuff, you can actually come in here. If down here at the bottom, it says strip outpost. If you find that option, just hold it. So if you want to remove everything, and it cannot be undone, hit yes. It is now clean. Well, now you notice, all of a sudden, this guy now's got a red marker. So we want to build him a line to there. So we're just going to grab, and I can put those down one at a time. However, you can actually also drag and drop. And you can change the different ways you want to drag. So right now it's doing this method. I can hold, well, I'm still holding the drag button. I can hit the D-pad, it'll change its direction. So now it's dragging in this direction. Hit it again, now it's doing horizontally. So we're gonna bring this out to here. Now, we need to go downwards. So how do we change shape? Well, you're just choosing the block. You can actually hit, in my case, for this, we can hit the Y button, change shape, and it will switch between these three forms, which we got a ramp. Well, now we need to rotate. It's not facing the right way. For the controller, I know it's to hold the left trigger, and it has all these other sections. You can see it on the left side of the screen near the top. It tells you what each one does. I want to rotate it horizontally, so we're going to go rotate yaw. And you have the roll and the pitch. As you can saw, at least for the stick, that's supposed to be roll, pitch, yaw. I like where it's at, so I'm going to place it. And yes, with these blocks, you can also drag them. Different dragging options with those as well. All the same dragging options, but it can be dragged. And all you want to do is bring it down, turn it, and do that, and boom, the path has been created. So now you're going to see the little preview of the guy running back and forth. So that's pretty straightforward, right? Pretty much. Okay, so now we want to put in some actual defenses. Now, here's the thing. Defenses get tricky with the yellow line. So we come back in here. We have, the next one is we have our traps tab. There's the guards tab. And then we have all these decals and props that you can put on here. The packs, I think, is, you know, clusters of items you can use together. So, you know, you have a common theme. You can keep them together. So, but for defenses, traps and guards are going to be your big, like, offensive, like, kill stuff. Blocks are just going to be the maze you make to give them a hard time. So we're going to I'm going to show you a few things you can and can't do with the traps. So we have the hollow block, the hollow cube. This thing allows you to create a fake block. Now, the trick with it is that, at least as far as this point I'm making this video, I've only found it looks like bedrock. so you can use it to blend in bedrock or something so you can hide in a trap. So say, for example, you know, like right here, I could put this here, and when the player gets to go come by, it looks like bedrock. So it'll look like a part of the regular structure. Now, you can make alterations to this to a certain degree. So with the holocube, I went into test mode. Alright. So, what'll happen with the holocube is when the player goes by it, it does this. It'll break open and reveal and disappear. Now, obviously, some of the better ways to use that is to use it as a pitfall trap, a hidden pitfall, so somebody steps on it, they'll fall down, or you can hide stuff behind it, like a trap and such. Let's go back to building. So, like, for example, we could put, we could grab, so you can actually copy a block that's already existent. So, say you're pointing at this cube, and I hit there's a copy object button and a delete object button. In this case, it's the shoulders, so I'm going to hit that copy button, say I put this here, and then I can put, we're going to go in here, we'll grab a trap, and we're going to grab the impaler. We're just going to put it, say, right here on this surface. Now, this is definitely one that's not exactly very effective because it only goes out to that length. But this is demonstration, so we'll just leave it at that. Now, we're going to put behind this one, let's put the bolt shot. And for the last one, whoops, let's say, here we go, bomb dispenser. Put that right there. We'll test from here. So, what happens? Oh no! You can see. And this reveals that. And then that, see? Use it in combination with the other traps to create a dangerous spot. So it's best used for deception and hiding, you know, things. Now, as you saw, the impaler. Actually, hold on. So here's another trick I like with the hollow block, and I do this on my one level there. Is now, should I go ahead and go do this yet? Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this. Okay, so let's grab a guard. So we have a guard here. He can only be placed on a square, right? As you can see, it shows a green thing. But if you try to place him here, it just says, you know, there's already a guard here, and it's red. And you can't place him on top of a hollow cube either. So if I wanted to hide him inside there, I could do this. I could place him, say, right here. You know, kind of hidden, out of the path, sight of the player. And we'll just bring this around. And say we'll do that. Okay, so about the guards, you can actually set a guard patrol. I will get into that a little bit more in a moment when I talk more thoroughly about the guards, but for the time being, you will just go ahead and grab him. And you can just bring him around. And we'll just put him right here. And as you can see, there's a little path. Like I said, I'll talk about that a little bit more. Whoops. And okay, we're gonna give him a second because he's back over there. I didn't give him enough time. Okay, so testing from here. Come across and make sure. Oh, there he is. So that shows an interesting thing. Traps can interact with each other and they can destroy each other. And they can kill guards as well. Guards can also destroy traps. Whee! So in case this would actually come up as defense backfired for the player, and they would get 50 experience for that until they got their until they hit their cap on it. There's like a cap you get for certain experience during the match or during the thing. All right, so that's the holocube. You can use it to hide traps, to create distractions and other scenarios by hiding the enemies in there and such. Now, I don't have all the traps, so I can't go over all of them, but I'm going to give you some basics on these other traps. And then I will go over the guards a little bit more. Okay, so the Impaler trap. When you're placing this one has a curious problem, is that when you're placing it down, it takes up the entire block. So if I couldn't put another one at the top here, like that. You know, it goes over, it takes up that entire block. So it has a bit of issues with, you know, stuff of that nature. Now, however, other ones, like say the Grappler, only takes the face, so they can get stacked with it. This is actually a pretty common pairing. Is they'll have this. Now, one I also like to do, say I'll grab this real quick, and then we will grab the bolt. The bolt is just like the grapple hook. It only takes the face. So you can put it here, and you can have two faces. So this one, the grapple hook, you know, like grab and bring it over, and you have that. But that's a combination thing that takes a little practice to get used to setting up and knowing where to do it. Not that I say it because the game's only been out for a week and I act like I was... No. But it's something I've seen and I've done and it works pretty effectively because distraction. Okay, so that's the Impaler. It has a few you can generally see it go off and you'll generally see it. A lot of people, from what I've seen from All Might, like to hide it around corners. And that's a pretty effective strategy. Okay, so we have the bolt shot. It is, as you saw, it just basically casts out, it fires off a volley of arrows. And it's generally one volley, and then it's done. It has mods that allow you to adjust that, but for the most part, that's what it is. A lot of people like to put it into hallways, or such, or above in pits, so it shoots down and tries to get a hold of the person by surprise. It's a lot of the use I've seen it is people trying to surprise you with it and nailing you before you have a chance to get out of the way. It's simple, it is effective, but you have to be careful where you use that. It's you don't use it where you would use Impaler. I've seen people put it around the corners. It can be used there, but they tend not to be super effective unless the player's just distracted and not paying attention. And that goes true for all of them, to be honest. Now here's the wild card one. This one I've seen it's caught me in so many different ways. It's definitely interesting. The bomb dispenser. If I go back here and we do this again, test from here. Alright, we've already talked about that one and that one, so... Now when you go see it, comes walking by, and you can just walk up to it, and it lets out these bombs. Now, and they will bounce all over the place. And with the mods you can give it, they can go crazy, or they can just go not so crazy. Okay, so I put down the last two traps that I personally have available to me right now, which is the corrosive cube and the grapple. Now the grapple, it's pretty straightforward. It launches out and grabs you and pulls you towards itself, and then will hold you until you either destroy it or you get killed. Pretty much. You can also... There's this cool thing you can do with it. I'll actually show you with... I want to also show with the some other things. And this is the corrosive cube. It's lava. Basically, if you just think it's lava, that's the easiest way to look at it. It's corrosive cube, and you're just meant to get killed by it if you go in its surface. So, for example... So, here's the grapple. Grabs you, pulls you forward, and you will sit here. Okay, it eventually lets you go, but... If you spam A, you can break from it. But normally you can just break it and be done with it. Now, about this thing. Demonstration. That's it. That's how it kills you. Now, here's the thing about the cubes, though. It takes time. Not a lot of time, but it's still enough time you can actually do stuff like this. You can dash through it with the grapple. And it won't, and you'll get out of it long enough to, and you can actually, you know, like barely graze it, run through the corner. It's not an instant death. It takes a few seconds. Another shot at the tailor at work. Caster. And the bombs. Now the thing is all the traps, except for a few exceptions, when they fire off, they're done. They're not good for anything else, especially when they have that surface on the front of them. This one is perpetual in this manner, as just because it's a passive danger. It doesn't actively track you or do anything to you, so yeah. Alright, let's go look at the guards. Let's take a look at them real quick. Okay, so this is an enforcer. You saw me put him down earlier. And and I used him to move around. He had a guard patrol. Now the thing is they're basically... I gotta get away from him. He's too loud. Okay, so what they do is you put them around and they defend your base. You have a certain limit of enemies you can put in the base. So if you look down at the bottom left, you'll see it says amount of unique guards, and it says the amount of max guards. Oof. Ouch, ouch, ouch. So if you get more than 20, you're done. You can't put any more in. So, unique guards I'm not sure of. I think it just has to do with the different diversities. But I'm not sure on that, because I only have this guard, and I only have 4 available to research. Or 3 to research, plus this guy. So I don't know what the unique one is necessarily at the moment, so because if I put more down... You know, it says I have 4 guards, so... Like I said, they can only be put down 1 per, per block. You can change the direction they look, just like the blocks. They can't be put past the bedrock, as you can see. He's all redded out. Now, what I did earlier is it says record guard patrol. So we're just gonna wrong button. So we're gonna hold X in this case, and you're allowed to create a path. So this guy will now follow You will even be controlling how he's looking during the process. So you can have him turn around looking backwards, turn him around looking forwards, and you can have him just go over here, you know, around, and then you can do one of two things. You can hit Y to auto-complete the patrol, which I think it just clips to the smallest, shortest point between where he's at and where you left him at. Or you can actually come back to where he is and hit complete patrol, and that'll put it. Or you can send him to another spot. And this is what I did earlier. And then hit X, or at least in this case on controller, hit X for him to stand guard, and that's where you'll stop. So if you watch, he'll do his little pathway. You see he's turning around. He's mimicking what I was doing. See? He's moonwalking. Now, if you chose him to complete patrol, he would keep repeating the loop. Back and forth, the entire time. See, this is where I could have hit complete control, and then I'm going to take him off, walk him off, and tell him to stand guard. Ooh. Now, an option that both guards and the traps have are mods. Because I mentioned these earlier. Now, each trap individually can have 2 mods available to them. Now, I only have 2 research for the bomb thing, so I can easily just hit both of these, and they will be here. The thing is one of them is second wave. Hides the trap until the gen mat is stolen from the extractor. And Eagle Eye is increase the trap's detection range. Now, you'll notice, here's the cool thing about it, is that when the traps are revealed, you'll notice at the top and bottom they have these little rectangles and has those markers top bottom. That can give you a clue as a raider of what mods they have equipped. Because multiple mods have the same icon. There's an attack mod, there's an ammo mod, there's a thing of miscellaneous mod, which I think is that circle one. In this case, there's also a detection one with circle. I'd have to go into the actual things to show it off more often. So, like, say, I can go... Got Hunter here, so I'll put that. All I have is that one there. Grapple, I have Quick Launch, which makes it launch faster. Do second wave there. The Cube has... Again, second wave and splatter. Oh yeah. Let me do this. Hang on. Bring a hollow cube out. It also has the Eagle Eye and the second wave, because there's something cool about its second eye or its second wave. And I give it splatter as well. Okay. And then the guards have their own augments too. In this case, I'm going to give him reflex, so it increases his fire rate, and optical implant. Increases vision range for detection. And then say, I will go in here, and we're going to test from the start. Now you watch Goofball, he's going to go off. Now as you can see, all the traps are hidden right now. That one right there is the lava cube, and the one right there is the... oh, see? He saw me. Now he's shooting at me. Now he lost track of me. And then he's going to go back into his, his patrol mode. Now you see, this is an interesting interaction. Now, the hollow cube is right over there. And he's stuck at it because, you know what? It's being camouflaged as bedrock right now. As second wave, it doesn't move. It's just a normal bedrock piece. So it blends right in. However, let's see if I can do this without triggering the guard. I'm going to come up here, grab the mat. Now you notice he went right through that thing once it became a second wave. And now these have all appeared. You got the extra length. Oh. I shot the bolt gas. The bolt gaster got destroyed by its bombs. And you can see this one just has a second wave. That's its thing. And then you see, now that this is second wave, it revealed itself from being the bedrock. And that's the splatter. If it gets interacted with, it shoots out a little bit of fire. Okay, so that's the basics of the traps and how to use, how to use them overall. The combination of stuff you'll have to figure out yourself, and I may do videos on that later. Interesting combinations, but let's get back to the sanctuary. Okay, so about the mods for the traps and the guards, you basically can come up into here.
By any means necessary, custodian. That's the reason behind this.
So for the mods, you can come into the advisors that research them, and you can go to the guard, and you can hit, once you've unlocked it, you can hit A to upgrade guard, or if you haven't and you just want to see the upgrades, down the bottom left it says upgrade guard, and you can go and check this stuff. And it'll tell you what's available, and then you can spend to change them. So as you can see, there's various different, see, like this guy can get armor, so he can absorb an extra hit. Dead Man Swish, he'll blow up after he, gets killed. Short leash, make sure he doesn't go too far from where you told him to sit at. And, so on and so forth. And each of the guards have that as options. The same goes for the traps.
Advisor's genetic donation should someday unlock true immunity in the Chimera. And then we have our cure. I hope.
Okay, and the same goes for the traps. You can go into the traps. They will show you all their mod options. Most of them have 4. I think all of them have 4, actually. But you can only use 2 at any given time. They all have second wave. So technically they have 3 unique ones. And they have ones based on their different, see, like when the hollow cube is in its trap form on, like, say during the first wave, you can see a slight wave of distortion, and this reduces that, so it puts it under attack. Masquerade acts as a normal block around guards, preventing them from passing through. So you could probably, like the trick I was doing earlier wouldn't happen until, and all that fun junk. So, and then the 2 other traps thing is the Death Piston. It's literally, it's I don't know how to really describe it without showing it. It literally just shoots out this large chunk of metal, or 5 pieces of metal, and they just consume the area thing at regular intervals. Kind of like how the Impaler works, except it smashes and blocks. So, and the only one I have the Incinerator, the Flamethrower. This thing is annoying because it doesn't trigger and then disappear. It triggers every time it sees the player, and it shoots out along. It has a delay, and then it'll shoot fire for a little while, and then it disappears, and then it shuts off. And the moment you come in for, most people like to put these at hallways where you don't have room to dodge, so you have to wait for the clear and then try to shoot through it. And they like to make you to people stack them with like 3 pistons. I've seen, so you have to shoot 3 bolts, get through it, and then you're still stuck having to deal with the fire. It's annoying. It is such an obnoxious trap. Oh, I don't have it yet because I don't want to be cruel to people. And then you have a plasma stencil. It basically can fire a round in 360-degree sphere around itself. So the least effective place is where there's only one side of the cube facing outwards. I've seen people use this thing pretty effectively as using a 2-sided, as in the middle of a wall, and it fires through both sides. It can be pretty nasty for it. So yeah, that's the basic gist of the game. You run a dungeon, you get materials, you build a dungeon, get materials, and all that's used to upgrade the advisors. The advisors then are used to upgrade the Chimera, which gives you your bonuses of cells, which you use to upgrade those things, as well as the other materials, and it's just that loop. Raid, build places to be raided. Now, the last feature, which I think is pretty interesting, and I loved this, is you have a replay station. So you can watch people run your bases. So we have, like, I've got Misery here is apparently disconnected a few times trying to run my base. And they'll let you know when they, when they have been, when you've watched them and when you haven't, so you know which ones you have watched. And there's some interesting ones. Like, see, this one's only 8 minutes. And I think I'll show a little bit of this. And this is other people playing a base I built. Now, when you're sitting here watching the replay, they give you all these camera options up above. You can actually turn the thing off. You can skip forward if you want to. You can skip back. I'm not sure what there's one of the other tools. You can do double speed. You can do half speed. Oh, quarter speed. Make for some interesting slow-mos. So you're seeing a dungeon, like I said, I built, and I'm using all these traps in combination with each other to create interesting scenarios. Like there's a pitfall trap there that was hidden with the hollow cube. You've got grapplers to pull people in. And you see, it's just a barrage of just traps, like in this first area. I'll give you a hint. There was a bunch of hollow cubes back there. This one's a little bit more obvious. Let's see. Trap. Ooh! Now, here's the thing. If you die, you start all over. Now, if you're playing with another person, they can revive you. So you don't have to start the entire thing all over. So they both died, and they're going to have to go back to the start of the mission now. If you're by yourself and you die, you instantly pretty much have to respawn and restart yourself. So as you can see, they go through 8 minutes of having to complete this. So let's skip ahead a little bit, since we already saw them do the first part. And you can also switch between players. In the case of controller, it's the right stick, so. Now you see there's the gen material that they're for. He doesn't want to get shot by stuff. The other guy is. Now the replays aren't perfect, but hey, they are what they are. It seems my replay has glitched out a little bit. I can tell that person's making fair use of the bubble shield. See, that was the Forsaken Tomb. They got all those materials collected. I was about to say, how did he survive that one? So I was using the holocubes to hide the guards. Yeah, I don't know why the other guy's like... He's glitched out on the replay. So I'm using the second wave mod to hide traps and such. Oh, they're about out. One more. As you can see, like, the entire time coming out here, even though it's so wide open, it's like, nope, we're not done yet. So I think he's trying to find him to revive him. Yeah, there he is. Got to die and got some parts. See, right now they're just probably just looking around that last bit. It's like, what's left? Like I said, okay, so that's the core. So you can go back and you can watch these videos, and then for each of those guys' deaths, you can now collect materials when you're in build mode at the base, which is what I did earlier. Okay, so, yeah, so that's a bit of an overview of Meet Your Maker. I maybe went a little bit in depth in the building, but I was wanting to give a little bit of, you know, a little bit of help in case you saw this and you wanted to see, hey, how to do this. But yeah, so I'm Arcades. I hope you had a good time. Hope you enjoyed what you watched. If you did, like, subscribe, all that fun junk, and maybe it does well enough, I'll bring in some tip videos, at least on raiding and or building. So yeah, hope you had a good time. Hope you enjoyed the watch. This is Arcades, signing out. Have yourself a good day.